My parents sold me to strangers for $5,000. Now they want me to pay for the cancer treatment of the child they kept. My parents woke me up at 3 in the morning, shoving me toward the front door in my nightgown. Where are we going? I asked. Shut up, my father said. A car was running outside and 2 strangers stood by it. The woman looked at me like I was a puppy in a pet store. Is this Rebecca? My mother pushed me forward so hard I stumbled. Take her. The man handed my father an envelope thick with cash. My father counted it right there in the doorway while I screamed. You said 10,000, he said. 5,000. Take it or leave it, the man replied. We'll take it, my mother said quickly. Just get her out of here. They shoved me into the stranger's car while I beat on the windows screaming for my mommy. My brother Kevin watched from his bedroom window eating cookies, waving goodbye like I was going to school. I was 10 years old and my parents had just sold me like a broken television. The Johnsons, the couple who bought me, turned out to be the parents I never had. Margaret was a pediatric nurse who held me through years of nightmares. You're safe now, she'd whisper. No one will ever buy or sell you again. You're our daughter forever. James was an accountant who taught me that love isn't about blood. Real parents choose their children every day, he'd say. We chose you. When I turned 18, they showed me everything. Your parents started at 10,000, Margaret told me, crying. We negotiated down to 5. They said they'd take 3, but we felt bad and gave them 5. They showed me the emails where my father called me difficult merchandise, and my mother said, take her tonight or we're dumping her at the fire station. One email from my mother said, she cries too much and Kevin doesn't like her. 5,000 is better than nothing. The Johnsons paid for therapy where I spent years processing being sold like an object. They paid for private school where I excelled because someone finally believed in me. They paid for college where I studied pre-med, then medical school where I graduated top of my class. You're our daughter, James would say at every graduation. We just had to pay an evil tax to evil people to get you. I became Dr. Rebecca Johnson, pediatric oncologist. I specialized in treating children whose parents couldn't afford care because I knew what it felt like to have parents who wouldn't pay for you. I opened a foundation that covered treatment for families in poverty. Margaret died of lung cancer my 3rd year of practice. You were worth millions, she whispered at the end. My only regret is we didn't have you your whole life. Those 10 years they had, you were 10 years of you being unloved. James died 6 months later from grief, holding a picture of all 3 of us at my medical school graduation. They left me everything including documents showing my bio parents had tried to claim me on taxes for 8 years after selling me, telling the IRS I still lived with them while pocketing thousands in fraudulent returns. 5 years into running the children's cancer ward, security called my office. Dr. Johnson, there's a couple here with a young man claiming to be your family. In the lobby stood 3 people I never thought I'd see again. My mother Denise, desperate and grabbing at me. My father Carl, counting carpet tiles instead of looking at me. Between them was Kevin, 28, designer everything, looking annoyed. Rebecca, thank God, my mother started crying. Kevin has lymphoma, stage 3. We need $200,000 for treatment. Kevin rolled his eyes. I told them you wouldn't help, but mom insisted. No hello, no apology, no acknowledgement of what they'd done. You sold me, I said, for $5,000 to strangers. My father finally looked up. We gave you a better life. Look how successful you are. You should thank us. Kevin actually laughed. Seriously, we did you a favor. Now you can return it. I stared at this stranger. When did you find out they sold me? He shrugged. Mom told me when I was 16. Said you went to live with rich people. 13 years. He'd known for 13 years. I help children whose parents love them, I said. Not adults whose parents sold their sibling for gambling money. My mother grabbed my white coat. Family helps family. You're a doctor. You took an oath. Kevin stood up angry. You're going to let me die over ancient history? That's when I pulled out my phone and showed them the emails. Ancient history? Here's dad calling me difficult merchandise. Here's mom saying dump her at the fire station. Here's you both trying to claim me on taxes after selling me. I gave them one offer. I'd pay for Kevin's treatment, every penny, but they had to sign legal documents acknowledging they sold me for $5,000 and agreeing to never contact me again. They signed immediately, didn't even read it, didn't even pretend to feel bad. Kevin grabbed the paperwork and said, finally, let's go, like I was wasting his time. As security escorted them out, my mother turned back and said, you were always difficult, even as a baby. They left with my check and I never saw them again.